All right, we are on to another cognitive bias. This is the false consensus effect. So one way to look at this is we tend to overestimate our opinions, our beliefs, our thoughts and feelings onto others, and that they're very common. Another way you can say it is everybody is just like us. We feel as everybody shares our opinions and thoughts and beliefs. And this was first discovered by Lee Rose, who discovered quite a bit phenomena in the world. And he did a few experiments. One of them was he gave, there are two groups of people. And they were given, well, not in two groups, there were two options. So basically he said there was this conflict or something. He gave them the story on a conflict, and there's only two ways you can solve it. So people ended up picking different ways of solving it. They picked, route A, they picked, and then there's route B, they didn't pick. And other people picked B and they didn't pick A. And then he ended up asking them, which one did you pick? And the people who picked, let's just say A, were like, yeah, I picked A. I think A was definitely the rational decision to make. And they were asked, do you think other people picked A? Yeah, I think A was definitely the way to go about it. But then the people who picked B did the exact same thing. And they said, hey, I think B was the rational choice. So, everyone should pick B. Well, what if, somebody picked A? Well, I don't know why anyone would want to pick A. That's such an awful way. Why would you pick A? He also did another experiment where he had people put on this sign thing saying, I think it was Eat at Joe's or something like that. It was a restaurant that didn't exist, and they had to go around Stanford, or I think it was Stanford. I think it was Stanford. I could be wrong, but they had to go around for 30 minutes wearing the sign, which restaurant didn't actually exist. And, some people turned it down. They're they had an option if they wanted to do it or not. Some people turned it down, and they said, well, then they were asked, hey, out of all the people we asked, how many people do you think turned it down? Oh, quite a bit. I think a lot of people would turn this down. It's really not that important. I'm not getting anything out of it. And the thing they said to keep people actually doing it was we'll give you information, or you'll get something interesting after you do this for 30 minutes. Some people ended up doing it. The people who did it, I think it was 6% said, yeah, I don't know why anyone else wouldn't want to do it. And then when they were asked, for those who agreed to wear the board, they criticized the others and said they were being afraid and stupid for not doing it. And then for those who refused to wear it, said that the people who were wearing the board were show-offs. And I think this is a very interesting thing. And this also goes into let's put it into a sports sort of framework. Let's look at the NFL draft. So let's say you're an organization and you're looking at a player and you really like the player. You're like, wow, this is a really good player, but nobody's really discussing him. The organization feels like he is definitely a top 5 pick. Other people are saying he's going to go lower, but they feel as if he's really good. And they think that other people think the same thing. They're just not really bringing it up. And that can go into football, and then you end up moving up 3, spots, or maybe even, 3, 5, 6, 15 spots to get the player that you think everybody wants. But maybe nobody likes him as much as you do. Maybe it's a false way of looking at the world. Hey, everybody else thinks this thing, but it's not really true. That's basically summarizing the false consensus effect. It's, I drink, so everyone drinks, you kind of take things about yourself and you put it onto other people, which is definitely not a 100% good way of going about the world, but I think that's a very interesting cognitive bias. But yeah, that is the false consensus effect. I don't think there's anything else I want to add. I think that was pretty much everything. Thank you very much.